Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from some of our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. First up on Pitt Sports Zone, hear from Robert Morris University football head coach Bernard Clark Jr. as his team prepares for this upcoming collegiate season. Then on Legacy Maker Sports, former NFL executive Tony Wylie sits down for a conversation on life, sports, and more. On Ravens Verdict, Candi and Darrell Owens dive into the biggest questions ahead of the joint practice with the Washington Commanders. Lastly, on Washington Commanders Update, tune into the conversation ahead of the joint practice with the Baltimore Ravens from Candi on All Burgundy and Gold Everything. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight.
What's going, everybody? Y'all already know what it is, man. I am your host, Pitts. We are back.
Absolutely.
Coach Bernard Clark Jr., Robert Morris University.
Yes, sir.
And of course, y'all know what this is. This is Through the Eye of the Tiger. What's going on, Tiger?
Hey, man, just enjoying life, man, enjoying the process, trying to get ready for another season. Excited about another season and excited about another season with my man Pitts.
Let's go. Listen, you guys, it's been a while since we sat down with Coach Bernard Clark Jr., and a lot has happened since the last time we spoke. Spring ball has come and gone. Summer preparation is in the books, and now the Robert Morris Colonials are getting closer and closer to stepping on the field for real when competition and the games matter. This season brings new challenges, new faces, returning leaders, and expectations that continue to grow for this program. Coach Clark, welcome back to your show, Through the Eye of the Tiger.
Absolutely, man. Glad to be back, Pitts. The crazy thing, exactly what you said. Been through a lot, man. This year, though, only had 2 coaching changes, so that's a good thing. But we still probably got about probably 34, 35 brand new players, still stepping in here, maybe a little bit more. But we're excited about the guys that we have. We're excited about what we're about to do. And, let's just get the thing started.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in, Coach. When you look at where the program is right now compared to this time last year, what stands out the most?
Not as many new players as we had last year at this time. It was crazy. Coming this time last year when we started August camp, we had 57 new players. 57 new players. Yeah. This year we're able to get some in mid-year. So we only got about 34 that are brand new right now that just came in. So we're excited about that. Guys putting in the time they need to put in. And the great thing about it, we're able to do some summer school. This is the first time since I've been here. We know university stepped up and did a great thing for us and helped us get summer school. So we had about 60 guys to 75 guys here in summer school. So excited about that. So those are some of the new things that have happened. And like I said, 2 new coaches, got a new defensive line coach. One of the coaches left. Also got a new defensive coordinator, but not changing much. Don't want to change too much. Want to make sure our guys are as comfortable as possible, getting ready for the up-and-coming season.
What did you learn about your football team during the offseason in regards to the new challenges? Last year, they went through new coaches. They had a bulk of over 50 new players that joined the team. So it was the building of the continuity. See, I got that word right. You got me straight with it. It was the building of the continuity. It was the chemistry, right? And those things takes time to develop. Not as many changes this year, but just from spring ball, what were some of the things that you've seen that you learned from your team during that time?
Well, this spring and compared to last spring, like I said, we had a lot newer players last year than we did this year. We had some guys that came in the spring. We're excited about that. The good thing about it, we came out seeing we have 2 solid quarterbacks, 2 guys we feel real good about, and got some other guys that have come in and also to compete for the position. So we're good about that. Defensively, we're running around better. Like I said, we didn't have a ton of new players, so that's the positive thing. And offensively, we're running the same offense. So that's the thing that was real positive last year. As at this time last year, I had 6 new coaches and 57 new players. So trying to juggle those things and trying to put them in the right position was tough. It was real tough, and I didn't do a very good job of that. And I think that's the reason we didn't play the way we're capable of playing and winning the games we are capable of winning. But with having the same offensive coordinator back, basically the same offensive coaches back, being excited about those things. And like I said, having a new defense coordinator, but he's not going to change much. It's a situation where we're going to pretty much do what the players can do, and we're excited about that. So there's the difference. There's the difference. The thing that is different, though, we got got a new kicker, new punter, new snapper. So those are the things that we're really crazy about, that are really crazy right now, dealing with new special teams guys. We got 3 new guys, and Coach Ty is doing a great job with those guys. But we're excited about it. We're excited about what we can do because we felt like we had a good spring. And like I said, the summer went extremely well, having those guys up here this summer and getting the continuity that they needed, camaraderie, and all those things that they needed to have to be excited about going into it, because now you have guys that have been together all summer. So now you have guys that can take constructive criticism from each other without getting upset because they've been together all summer. It's not a bunch of new guys coming in and guys getting on one another and they don't really know each other. So our guys know each other. The camaraderie is there, and we're excited about what's about to happen this year.
And as I can, only imagine, going through spring, the offense now gets to be consistent. There's no new wrinkles. I mean, of course, there's new plays here and there, but as far as the foundation, right, you get to build on what was already established last year and move and progress as a unit in regards to that chemistry. Offensive line, connecting, talking, running backs, receivers, all the above. And then not to mention, of course, said you have some new talent that came in, is giving the quarterback room for pickup. Definitely want to talk about that. But first thing is, let me pivot. I didn't do our word. Is there a word of the week, or we want to wait till the season get here?
Well, word of the week starts in the season, but as you know, we do what's called 4 quarters, and then the season's overtime. So we're in the 4th quarter right now. The first quarter, was believe. Second quarter was mindset. The third quarter was committed. And right now we're in the 4th quarter because we've started camp, and the word is focused. I want to make sure our guys are focused and committed to what we need to do and getting ready for the season. So we got to make sure when they're on that field, they're focused on what we need to do and how we need to go about doing it, and making sure they're channeling in. Because again, and I know at this time when you having football camp, there's no school. There's no school involved. There's nothing. It's strictly football. You're here playing football, 24 hours football until school starts. So we want to make sure they're locked in on what we need them to do and locked in and paying attention to what's going on. So there's a word that's right now in the 4th quarter, it's focused.
And like we like to tie, or I like to, believing, the focus, the
mindset,
and
committed.
So when you talk about those things, right, the focus really is the benefactor of all of those things already working together, right?
Absolutely.
Because then the game becomes more reactionary and not in the thought process, right? Not thinking about assignment, not thinking about where am I supposed to be on this play. Now the film study and everything that we've done to get our mindset right, to get our belief right, to get our commitment together, to be able to be in a position to focus and just, play one play at a time. In regards to that, are there any players that you've seen, step up? Or because every team needs leaders, right? Who are some of the players who have really stepped up that you have seen thus far?
Well, the young man we brought in at quarterback, Carson Haggard. Carson's doing a great job. I'm sorry, Haggard. Doing a great job. Carson's playing outstanding for us. Not only that, he's been a leader all summer long. Been a leader all summer long. He's done a great job of leading our guys, along with David Johnson, who's a defensive tackle we have returning. Now, Carson's a guy that we brought in the fall. We brought him in January. So he's been here all summer, committed to what he's doing. The school he came from is irrelevant. I know people, you can look it up. I don't get caught up in where he transferred from. What we have, we feel like is a good leader. But the great thing about it, the young man that played a lot last year, Cooper did an outstanding job as a true freshman. So we have 2 quarterbacks that have some playing time on the field, which was different than last year. The only one that really, really had playing time was Zach. Zach was the only one we had to have playing time. And when he went down, and we went down to our 4th quarterback, which was Cooper, we didn't have guys who had that playing time at that position, where it's different right now. Carson's had playing time. Cooper's had playing time. So we're excited about that. And DJ, DJ's our defensive tackle, has been a great job, been a leader on the field has done an outstanding job, played hard for us last year. Again, was a redshirt freshman last year, so he's a redshirt sophomore, but he has some starts under his belt. So those are probably two guys that have jumped out more than anything, along with our two receivers, Galen and Jakai, two guys that played a lot for us freshmen last year. They played a lot. They're coming back. But those guys are the ones that really stick out more than anyone right now. And we got some guys on defense, but most of our guys on defense are new. Most of our guys on defense are new that didn't really play for us last year, but we got a lot more speed, I think, this year on defense than we had last year.
Okay, I can envision a couple Ron Carter ESPN highlights coming this year. Like,
that'd be nice. Matter of fact, you know what, Pitts, I got to give him a shout out too, man, because right now he's signed with the Indianapolis Colts. So Rob Carter's with the coach right now. I'm hoping, I wish him nothing but the best, man. I want him to go for his destiny. I don't believe in good luck. I only believe in a good God. So I hope he goes for his destiny, man. He pulls this thing out and ends up making the team. Had an interception the other day in a scrimmage, so that was great. So I'm excited for Rob, man. He had an unbelievable season with British Columbia last year in CFL. Had two more of those one-handed catches and a punt return. I think that's how he signed his contract with Indianapolis. So we're hoping we have one of those guys laying in the rough for us, laying in the brush over there, trying to see if we can make some things happen.
And it's crazy you said, because I'm gonna put a pin real quick. Like, I was just thinking, the reason why I brought him up is because in my mind I'm like, I would really love to see him, to be able to get that work with a Sauce Gardner, and to get that leadership and see how Sauce, and then see them on each side, because Ross, listen, you want to turn over. what my man, what Bowie used to say, you want to win, put Bowie in.
Bowie in the game. That's it. No doubt.
Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, and the thing with Rob, Rob had a great career, but what he's done since he left here is he's continued to improve. That's something I continue to talk to our guys about. It ain't about just remaining the same. You got to get 1% better every day. You and I talk about it all the time. You got to get better each day at something, no matter what it is. And he's continued to do that. And the thing that originally that hurt him, what people don't understand, he didn't have a great 40 time, but he has football speed. And he's shown the football speed. He showed it in the CFL last year, and hopefully he'll get an opportunity to show it this year in the NFL. I'm excited for the young man. I'm hoping everything works out for him.
Last year, Coach, one of the things that we talked a lot about was the offensive line and injuries, right? But yet it was still the 5. How are we looking trench-wise on the offensive side this year?
Well, that's the crazy thing. That's where we got a lot of new pieces. We had about 3 seniors graduate last year. 3 guys graduated, and most of the guys were just redshirt seniors, but they felt their bodies were beat up. They just couldn't do it anymore. So we had like 3 or 4 guys decided they decided to leave. So that's where our new bodies are. So we're still trying to get some continuity there with different guys, because again, coming into a camp, you get a couple guys hurt here, a couple guys hurt here. You start out with 18, and next thing you know, you're down to 12. Or you're down to 10, and then they're getting better. And as the season goes on, you're trying to get this. And to be crazy enough, we're still trying to get some guys in before school starts. We're still looking at a couple of O-linemen trying to get them in before school starts, because that's where you need the depth. That's where you need the help. You got to make sure you have those guys padded up, ready to go. And you got to have more than 5. You may have to play with 10 to 12 guys each game, depending on how the rotation goes. So we're still excited about those guys, but we're still trying to build that continuity between those guys, because that's the newest position that we have.
And when you talk about depth, I was actually going to go there next as well. And, there was a game last year where, it was so many injuries that it was like freshmen on defense, safeties and cornerbacks. How are we looking depth-wise in regards to veteran players behind the ones?
Well, we brought some transfers in who have played at different places, and they're vets. But we still got those guys last year that had to play who are now redshirt freshmen. So they got 4 more years left to play for us, and that's the great thing and the positive thing about that. But we brought some guys in from different schools, transfers in, who had 3 or 4 games under their belt, some Division II schools and things like that, who's had, 11 games under their belt, 12 games under their belt, because they started at Division II and they had an opportunity to come up to FCS football. So that's what they did. So we're excited about those guys, but not to say we're not excited about our redshirt freshmen, because those guys are competing hard this camp and doing a great job.
Speaking of the transfer portal and everything, now with this new NCAA rule, right, where the clock starts, it's 5 years regardless, right?
Yep.
You graduate in 19, whichever comes first. Does that change does do you change in regards to how you recruit and how you hit the transfer portal now that it's a running clock regardless?
I think the young men do that. I think they got to look at that and be cognizant of what they're doing when they decide to go into the transfer portal. Because again, now it goes back to, am I going to graduate from college? Am I going to be ready to play when I get to the next school? So all those things kind of fall into place now. So you got 5 years to get it done, and I think that's why the NCAA did it that way, because in 5 years you should be able to graduate from college. You know, and that's the most important thing. You and I both know that. Within those 5 years, you got to be able to make those things happen. And I think it was just getting to the point where guys were getting 6, 7 years in, 8 years, 9 years, and it was just getting kind of old. And I think, you know what? I think this is a great model. I really do. Some people may disagree with me. Some people may agree with me. I have no idea. I'm just giving my opinion. I think it's a great model because it does two things. In 5 years, if a young man's going to play college football, he's going to be a starter. He can do that within 5 years. If he wants to transfer and be able to play at a bigger school, he can do that within 5 years. But the most important thing, that young man should be able to get his degree within a 5-year period, because you know you won't spend anywhere 4 or 5 years and not graduate from college. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Here we are, episode 212, or one-on-one here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on the amazing Bowie television. I am super duper excited today. If you didn't hear before when I was doing the introduction, but we got my man, I call him, like I said, super inspiration for me. Mr. Tony Wylie is here with us today. Tony, how's it going, brother? How's everything going?
It's going well, but hold up, man. Who did that theme song? That theme song just got me hyped. Oh my gosh.
So it's so funny, man. And I love when I get that. I love when I get there. So my cousin is a hip hop artist. It was local to Virginia, but I mean, he's been on the BET Awards. He's done a lot of great stuff now. He's with Empire Records. His and one of his songs is going to be on the new GTA. So for those out there wondering, like, man, he has been killing it for especially the last 5 or 6 years. He does some movies on Tubi, all that stuff like that. I'm so proud of him. He's going to be our season finale this year. So I can give him some love and some flowers for all that he's done for myself. But yeah, that's my cousin, Mark Butler, aka Chosen, doing the.
Tell him that set the tone. Tell him that totally sets the tone.
I will definitely tell him.
That got me hyped.
I would definitely tell him. It's so funny, man. I love when I hear that, because like I said, I said, look, my cousin, I need this. I need a theme song for my show. I said, I don't know if you got time, but if you can. He said, oh, I got you. And so, we grew up together where, like, I used to go over his house and I saw the drive and the vision of him, like, wanting to become a hip hop artist and what he wanted. I seen it. So seeing it coming to fruition now is like, yeah, this is great, because everything's starting to really pick up for him. So yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Look at theme songs throughout history. I mean, the Dukes of Hazzard, the Jeffersons, Good Times. I mean, people know them. Happy Days. People know them theme songs.
Yes, that's the thing. You gotta have something that people say, oh yeah, that's all right. So I love when I have a guest say, yeah, that's the one. I'm like, so yeah, I don't think I'll ever change it. I love it the way it is. So, but with that being said, we got to get into talking about Tony Wylie today. And the way we start every episode off is with the check-in. All right, Tony. So with the check-in, we want to check in on you, your family, your friends. How is life right now for Tony Wylie?
Life is great, man. I mean, I'm very blessed. I mean, my right here being in Virginia, my family is awesome. I'm blessed. I have my mom and dad. My dad's 87. My mom's 82.
Awesome.
And they get up and they work out 5 days a week. I'm like, man, they inspire me. I'm sitting back like, I'm sitting around not doing anything. And at their age, they're getting up. So they inspire me to really try to get in shape. My wife is awesome. She's my rock. We've been married now for 21. Just finished 21 years. And my son's at second year at Morehouse.
Awesome.
He's doing well. He's a baseball player there, computer science major, has a 4.0. And my daughter just entered her senior year, and she's going to be joining my son in Atlanta by attending Spelman. So my household's going to be all black college. My wife's from Xavier, and I'm Texas Southern, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My son and daughter is Morehouse and Spelman. So the whole Wylie household will be HBCU grads.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Like I tried, but it didn't go in my favor. My oldest is a junior at Randolph College. down in Lynchburg, and then my youngest is going. We just dropped her off a couple days ago to where Mary Washington in Fredericksburg. So they both want to be child psychologists. I'm like, you go do what you got to do. So they're doing that. Still got my son. He's 11 now, so we got a little time on him. He's just entering middle school, and then me and my wife are celebrating 20 years this past March. So yeah, we're on your heels, brother. We're on your heels. We're not quite there, but we're on your heels. But it's so good to hear that everybody is doing well, my friend. So let's kind of get into a couple of things. Now, obviously, you have an extensive sports background, but I want to know, Tony, where did your passion of sports come from? When you were 7, 8, 9 years old, where did that passion of sports come from? Who gave you that passion of sports? Just give us a look inside of where you get that passion.
I'm a Brooklyn native, and I'm really, really close to my 2 older cousins. They're around the same age, and unfortunately, my older cousin just passed, but they're I would always be around them. And one day they just taught me baseball. I mean, we had like a little something. They just taught me baseball, and from that day forward, I started loving sports. I mean, being in New York, I was a big, huge Yankee fan. The Yankees won a pennant, then got swept by the A's. That's 1976 and 77. They got Reggie Jackson, and they won the World Series. And that was it was just something about how sports just brought the whole town together. I mean, everyone just loved the team and supported the team. And then I moved to Houston. I moved to Houston in '79, and that's right when the Love You Blue era started with Earl Campbell, who is a friend of mine right now. But I just saw how football is like a religion in Texas, and it just so happened I just love sports. I remember my dad bought me a Sports Illustrated subscription, and it was done. I mean, I that and collecting baseball cards. I just love sports too. But I also looked up to my cousin. I looked up to my older cousin. He was a pre-med major. So I decided to be just like him, and I majored in pre-med. And after his first year in med school, he came and visited me, and he was telling me what he was doing. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. And we were looking at ESPN, and he goes, that's what you need to be doing. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, you need to be working in sports. I've known you your entire life. You need to be working in sports. And just by chance, this is why God, the next day I read an article in a Black Collegiate magazine that was talking about sports management. And I remember the title was, you can turn your love for sports into a career that you love. And I knew right then it was talking to me. And they were talking about how people, they were talking about Al Campanis when he made that comment in 1987. And they're basically saying how, this is a field you may not know about, and this is a chance to really right a wrong, but you're going to take some work, and there's a lot of people want to do it. So I ended up going over to Rice, and they had that was the closest school that had a sports management program to me. And the guy went to UMass, and he was telling me, hey, this is a field you might want to go into, but I think he said we take 20 students every year. And I was like, well, how many applicants do you get? He goes, oh, we get thousands.
Thousands.
He said something that stuck with me. He said, you can apply, but you got to bring something to the table. I said, huh? He goes, yeah, it's very, very competitive. So the very next day, I went to the sports information office and just went in there and I said, hey, I'm here to work. I'm going to work in sports management. I'm here to volunteer. I'm going to do whatever. And we had a guy on the football team named Michael Strahan.
Oh.
And our basketball team ended up going to the tournament. So it was a great time to be at Texas Southern. So I started working, and then I started networking. And lo and behold, being in a big place like Houston really helped out because I met the Astros. First, I started working with the Astros. And then I sat down and I said, I want to do, so then my first class I took in journalism, the professor said, you got to pick someone you want to be like and interview them. And I ended up picking Bob Watson. Bob Watson was the only Black general manager in all of baseball. Oh, and wow. He worked right there for my hometown team, the Houston Astros. So one thing about me, I was never afraid to pick up the phone and call people, never afraid to network with somebody. And I called his office. He was in the middle of spring training and he called me back. Not only did he call me back, but he spent 3 hours on the phone with me, explaining the whole front office structure. And the last thing he said to me was, if you want to do this, you can do it, but it's going to take some hard work. And that ignited right here, ignited the flame. And it motivated me it ignited a flame in my belly that, okay, I want to go for this. And I started working in sports information. And then I got one of these Sports Illustrated almanacs because I was like, I want to work in the pros. And I sent out not 100, not 200, not 300. I sent out 400 resumes. Wow. And my thinking at the time was, the more darts you throw at a target, the better your odds of hitting it. And I ended up going to Temple. I went to Temple. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I remember the dean of the sports management program at Temple was a Kappa. He said, "I want you to come out here and let's visit the campus, and maybe you can come out here because they have a grad program at Temple for sports management." So I said, "Okay." Well, it just so happened I emailed. I mean, I did not email. This was before email. I remember I sent a resume to all these basketball teams and football teams, and the New Jersey Nets wrote me back and said, "We have an unpaid internship available, but come out here during the Christmas break and let's do an interview." So, I still had family in Brooklyn. I remember the plan was I was going to drive my 1980 Toyota Corolla and then interview. So I ended up, they were called, the Nets were playing in Brendan Byrne Arena during that time. And I remember I went to the interview. I brought my little TSU Herald, the TSU school paper clips. And I remember I was so intimidated. I remember walking into the arena. I'm like, holy cow, and I was so, I know I bombed an interview. And then I ended up going down the turnpike to Philadelphia, and we had John Chaney. John Chaney was the coach, basketball coach.
Legend. John Chaney.
I remember they were like, "Hey," I remember the dance program was like next door to sports management. So these little co-eds with leotards, stretching and dancing, and you're getting ready. "Hey, you want to go? Here's my number. I'll show you around." I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to Temple." So during the semester, scouts were coming in to of course get information on Strahan. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of talented guys on the team, and as guys came in, I would ask them, "Hey, what advice do you have? I want to work in pro sports." And I remember I ended up meeting the Oilers PR director, so I started working game days for the Oilers. I was working with the Astros. I was writing for the Houston Chronicle and the Houston Post. So I remember the scout from the Giants, ironically, the team that drafted Michael, the guy said, you're already in the mix. He goes, "You can have a PhD," because my plan was to go on and go to Temple, get my
right.
He goes, you can have a PhD. If you don't know anybody, you ain't getting in. You already have an in with the Oilers. I'll stick with that. Because you got to understand, one thing, D, I was never afraid to ask people advice. Bill White from the MLB came to Houston. I read in the paper he was supposed to pick up an award. So I ended up calling the hotel and called his room. And he invited me to come over to sit and have advice, get advice from him. So I was really that determined to get my foot in the door. So I ended up sending out all the resumes the next time. And I got a letter back from the San Diego Chargers. See, that's how old it is. San Diego Chargers.
San Diego, man. I still call them the San Diego Chargers, so don't feel bad.
I got a letter from the San Diego Chargers, and it had like 5 lines. "We do provide room and board and a place, and a stipend." But the last sentence killed me. It said, "Applicant is responsible for own transportation." Now I was waiting tables. I was really tough. Working through school, I couldn't afford a plane ticket.
Right.
This is why I love my school. The dean of the communications department stopped me in the hallway and said, "Hey, come see me after you're done with class today." So I went in his office. I'm thinking I'm in trouble. I went in his office, and he reached down in his drawer and pulled out a Delta's airline round trip ticket to San
Oh
Diego.
man, that's awesome.
And said, I heard you're trying to go to San Diego." He said, "You worked hard to get this opportunity." He said, "You get out there and you represent this school."
Awesome.
And so I went to the placement office now because I bombed the Philadelphia, I mean, it's New Jersey Nets. I was like, I have another opportunity. I can't bomb this time. So I went to the placement office. Dr. Jones explained what happened. I said, now I'm a chance to go interview with San Diego. He said, "Follow me." He took me in his car to the Galleria and bought out of his own money, bought me a suit. And then he said, "I want you to meet me the next 3 days. We're going to prepare for your interview."
Mm.
So I learned then, he said, "Hey, make sure you find out who they're going to, how many people they're hiring and how many people they're interviewing, and find out when they're going to make a decision." And
Welcome to the Ravens verdict. Court is now in session. There's our imaginary gavel yet again.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody, this is Candi, Seawall Waller, and Darrell Owens checking in to give you all the latest and greatest information on the Baltimore Ravens. We do this show in partnership with the wonderful folks at Fox Sports, Hopewell, Virginia, 1340, 96.9 FM. Listen, you all, it's been a minute because we've been on the move. We have been on the move in training camp. There is never, ever like just a moment to stop. But the Baltimore Ravens are now in the final week of preseason and prep. They're going into another joint practice. This time, they will be the host team for the Washington Commanders. So there is a lot to talk about. Darrell, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And like you said, just busy. I mean, we've been running all, especially this month of August. We've been running around getting prepared for the upcoming season, but trying to get through this preseason, trying to figure out who will make this 53-man roster here in the next couple of days. It's just been a lot of stuff going on, but we got a lot of good information for you all today. We just been trying to get it all together so we can bring it to you.
Yes, indeed. So, Darrell, we have a lot to discuss, like you just mentioned. So let's go ahead and get into the docket for this episode of the Ravens verdict. So case number one, the running backs. Do the Ravens have enough depth? Case number two, are the tight ends, Matt Hibner and Josh Cuevas, are they exactly what the Ravens needed? And case number three, who wins the center battle, Ethan Posick or Javon Gwynn? There is so much to discuss, and we may as well hop right on into it with case number one. Darrell, what are your thoughts in your opening statement on the Baltimore Ravens' current running back room?
There's a part of me that feels like they need more. There's a part of me that feels like they need more. We've seen Justice Hill over the last couple of years. He's had some sparks for this Ravens team, and we've seen him do some really good stuff. He's dealt with some injuries here and there, but he's the speed to Derrick Henry's power game, or the lightning to the thunder, whatever way you want to put it. And so for me, I just feel like there is definitely something more needed. And they drafted Adam Randall, who has been dealing with some injuries and some stuff like that, a little banged up. And then you also have Rashid Ali, who's been there for the last couple of years, but hasn't maybe given the Ravens what they, maybe what they've needed so far from him. There's a part of me that says they need a little bit more, and I'm still just trying to figure out exactly what that may be. They did bring in Jonathan Ward last week to try to, put a little bit more in the room to see what was going on there. He played a lot in the last preseason game, so we got a chance to see a lot of him. So there's a lot of moving pieces right now, But there's a part of me that says they need a little bit more, Candi.
And so I know there's been a conversation around Derrick Henry, who I know from the practices that I've been able to attend still looks like the King Henry to me. And then of course, everyone talks about the Baltimore Ravens owners pick, like you mentioned, Adam Randall, and what he could bring and take it in. But it's like, who's that third running back? What does that room actually, what do they really have? So we could probably get into some of the deliberations now. And if you all have watched Ravens Verdict in the past, or even if you're new, this is the time when we really let's dig into some of the content. Let's dig into some of what we've heard along the way from some of the coaches, some of the players, and, just getting into you mentioned Rasheen Ali. We see here Derrick Henry. You mentioned Justice Hill. To your point, it's okay. Derrick Henry, Adam Randall. Who else? Who else will it be? Who else makes it? Right? We know Rasheen Ali and Justice Hill both have sometimes dual roles on special teams. So maybe this is an opportunity to say, hey, maybe a special teams role, get somebody else on the squad. What are your thoughts about that, Darrell?
I mean, there is a lot of potential there. I mean, and trying to figure out how do you fill this, this 53-man roster, how do you go about it? There's a part of me that thinks they keep 4 running backs because of some of the issues they may have had in the past at the running back position. We've seen they had Keontae Mitchell last year. He was nicked up. Justice Hill was nicked up. So I feel like they may keep 4 just to have, just to make sure they can be on point when the time comes. But it's really hard to tell where they're going to go with this. Do they keep all 5? It's a possibility. I can see on the special teams front, that they're in the league now, that the running backs tend to be those kick returners nowadays. We've seen a lot of that, in the league since they went to the new format. So there's a chance that all 5 make the team.
So let's hear from Coach Faulkner. We got to get to, Derrick Henry, because I know that's been even a national conversation of, is he on the decline? What does this year look like for him? So let's hear Coach Faulkner talk a bit about King Derrick Henry.
Henry, he's 10th all time on the NFL rushing list. It seems like every yard he gets, he's making history, going up in history. Do you ever get the sense in dealing with him, whether talking to him or out there, that he ever has this kind of a little bit of his eye on NFL history at all?
I don't think so. I really don't. He comes to work every day. The best thing about that guy is he allows me to coach him. You know what I mean? A lot of guys could be like, yeah, whatever, because he could not take another snap in this league and get a gold jacket. But he's thirsty for that knowledge. He's thirsty to get out there and continue to improve. When I first showed up, I had a couple things. I was like, hey, man, here's what I saw in your game where I see some improvements. I think he appreciated that from the beginning, where he was like, oh, okay, wow. You know what I mean? We've been working on those things as we've been going through the spring and now in the offseason. So I love how he attacks the everyday. He holds himself to a high standard, and that's awesome.
And this is something that I know we've heard consistently, even amongst his teammates, right? Coach Mentor has mentioned this as well regarding Derrick Henry. And like we said, from what we've seen in practice, it doesn't look like someone who's trying to ride this out for the, just ride out the rest of his NFL career. This is someone who is showing up to work, ready to, continuing to be teachable, still learn, all of those things. So Derrick Henry, he's a staple. Well, not even just a staple with the Baltimore Ravens, it's a staple in the league.
Right.
It's still a standard of what it looks like to be a great running back, even with all these years of experience. We'll hear again from Coach Eddie Faulkner on the running back room.
A reputation for being a real tackle teacher. Talk about what goes into that in terms of the backs you have there, or what you see in the backs here.
I think that's a battle that's won in the womb a lot of times, you know what I mean, with the guys. They just have the skill set to do it or not. But you can drill those things to get better and sharpen your tool in that way. And so, Willard, we did it today, a lot of little one-on-one versus linebackers, just talking that, and then the emphasis that you see in game film and just pointing out those situations, because we always try to track a one-on-one percentage where we truly get a one-on-one, and we want to win 75% of those battles. So if you're winning 3 out of 4 one-on-one opportunities, a lot of times behind that's a lot of real estate. So those turn into big plays. So for us, if it's catch and run balls where we can catch, make a guy miss, and turn it into a big play, that's what we're hunting. Some of the goals for the run game, we got to be efficient, you know what I mean? Obviously, that's in connection with the guys up front, tight ends, and everybody being on the same page. The expectation should be high because we have, good linemen. We got guys who've done it a lot. We got a first ballot Hall of Famer running back. We got guys behind them who can play, so we should have high expectations for ourselves and the public. So, the expectations would be for us to be one of the best, and we're working towards that daily.
And we've definitely seen rookie Adam Randall be impressive, right, in camp as well as in games. 2 preseason games in now. Rasheen Ali was just back at practice just this week. He is somebody that really, to your point, Darrell, right, shouldn't miss any practices, camp, and was out for 2 weeks, but he is back. So I think it's almost time. Let's get into, the verdict. Do the Ravens have enough depth? Yes, we can. We all know that they can play. We all know that they can play, right? But is there enough there, in what they currently have on the roster? What is your verdict, Darrell?
I know I said at the beginning, there's still a part of me that feels like they need something else. But I still think that where they are now, they should be okay. And it's all about health. I mean, we saw how, important Justice Hill can be when he's healthy and what type of spark that he can bring. And then, him and his familiarity with Lamar Jackson, all that stuff goes a long way. And him being familiar with the franchise is long. So you want that. You want to have that cohesiveness. Derrick Henry, who has been the consummate pro. We've seen all the workouts, everything from Derrick Henry, like over the years where, it's 30, 32, 33 years old now. My man looks like he's 24, 25, and he can outdo all of us with his eyes closed. So overall, yes, I think the running back room, it will be fine. There is a part of me that says they may need something else, but the biggest thing for me is, if you watched last year, Derrick Henry was top 2 back in the league. Rushing wise, and the problem was, if his biggest problem last year was maybe holding on to the football, which is something that we're not used to Derrick Henry fumbling the football. So I think that's something he probably will improve on. It probably bugged him all off last season. So I think they'll be fine, Candi. My overall thing will they be fine, but there's a part of me that would like to see maybe something else.
So this is absolutely, you all, something that I know that Darrell will be watching during Baltimore Ravens joint practice with the Washington Commanders. And of course, preseason game 3, we know that's typically, the Ravens so far have not played their starters. They've played some of their younger players who are anticipated to be starters, but it's still an opportunity for players to flash. This roster has to be set by Sunday evening, this coming Sunday evening. So Darrell will have his eyes on the offense, and particularly this group, the running backs. Let's move in then to another category here, which is the tight ends. There's a lot to like with the rookie tight ends. There's a lot to like here with the rookie tight ends for certain. Darrell, let's go ahead and get started with your opening statement. Are the tight ends, Matt Hibner, Josh Cuevas, exactly what the Ravens needed? What is your opening statement?
Well, look, the 2 young guys have impressed in 2 separate games so far during the preseason. First week, we saw Matt Hibner go out there. Doyle was just targeting this man often and early, and he made some really good plays. He had like 5 catches, and he did a really good job of, kind of showing what I think they were looking for was that, Isaiah Likely replacement. And Hibner kind of gave some of that when he was in that game in game 1. Then in game 2, Cuevas comes out there and he's making great plays. He had more catches in that game than he had in the first game combined. He made a couple of big plays down the field. And so Coach Doyle talked about them wanting them to try to get him a little bit more of a catching receiver, talking about Josh, and hopefully getting him kind of to where he needs to be. So, he's more of a blocking tight end, but I think they want to try to open his game up a little bit more. And what I've seen for both of them are two young guys who are willing to learn, and getting to learn from the great Mark Andrews is going to be very important for this team from this point on to continue to develop them young men, but they're going to learn from one of the best in Mark Andrews.
So speaking of Mark Andrews, as we're getting into the deliberations, of course, Mark Andrews still a very active target for Declan Doyle and Lamar Jackson's offense. Let's hear a clip from Mark Andrews when he talks a bit more about the tight end room.
From last year, the group of guys you've been with for quite some time, to now you got a couple rookies, you got someone who obviously knows the offensive system and Durham as well. How has that change been? How's the new room gelled together?
Well, these guys are great. They come to work each and every day, work hard, and we're all kind of learning. Besides Durham, he kind of knows it all. But I just think that we're able to complement each other incredibly well, push each other, all the good things that you want in the room. These guys are top of the notch guys, and it starts with Coach Grassi doing his thing. We all feed off it.
Mark, what kind of stands out about Hibbner and Cuevas specifically, having gone through just the spring with those guys?
All right, here's the rundown. It's time to talk about, we'll talk about day 16 of the Commanders training camp, which includes, Glenn says, put the threes up. There was a number 3 was released by the Commanders, Will Harris. And then we'll also be talking about the signing of left tackle DJ Humphries. All right, so Cam asks you, I pretty much know the answer, but still, we got to entertain the viewers. Were you surprised that Washington released Will Harris this late in the camp, and what does this move tell you about how this team feels about their safety room?
No, it doesn't. This was like one of my first questions at training camp. I mean, this is a topic we've been talking about, though. We've been tracking this, right? About the safety room. And, one of my first questions to Coach Quinn of camp was about the safety room. Then it was about Jeremy Reeves, because I saw his increased role, right, on defense. Then that's when I brought it to you all. Okay, Nick Cross, Jeremy Reeves. We know Percy is your special teams demon. He's also a safety. We know Tyler Owens. They keep bringing those two up as special teams standouts, right?
Yeah. All right. Nice, my
There's
guy.
one more spot. Who is this spot for? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And then I ended up telling you all, and I had to go and check to see what day it was. It was like day 4, and I'm like, wait a minute. Will Harris ain't there. Is he out there?
Yeah.
And then let's speed up. Preseason game 1, did he or did he not play most of the game?
Sure did.
The whole game.
Sure did. Shout out my best friend, Jew.
Every
snap.
Actually, okay.
Yeah, it's my best friend. So I was like, who is that? Shout out to my guy. But yeah.
And I mean, we talked about the jersey thing too on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, do we need to change? Why did you need to go from one other person? You're already wearing someone else's number.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Now you're wearing someone else's number.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Can we talk about that though? Like in terms just like how dirty. Like, do they not? I ain't gonna lie. Do they not like Will Harris?
That wasn't good.
Was that? Do they not like him?
I mean, I think he's a nice guy. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but
no, I'm saying like
he's nice. He's super nice.
Yeah,
but but at the same token, I don't know. What? I mean, he was on the sideline a lot.
Yeah.
And then last week I saw them working him in different spots, and I'm like, okay, maybe this works out for him. But preseason game 2, I said this is not gonna work out for him.
I ain't gonna lie. I just thought that was nice. I ain't gonna like that's just something like somebody did something to you to give the dude like I get like you gonna cut me. Like I understand that. Like you gonna cut me. But like not the game before you gonna cut me. You gonna have the dude wearing my jersey.
No,
he ain't wearing my jersey. He ain't wearing my jersey throughout all the camp or whatever. Now they like now you wearing my jersey, and man, like at least wait, let me leave first. Let me leave first.
Kiss of death, ain't it? That's a kiss of death.
Yeah, but I'm like, that is cold though,
Yeah,
bro. Like,
it was somebody they weren't on the same page at the time of this thing.
The equipment manager jumped the gun. No, that's what Paul says, but
probably
put that up
did.
there. But here it is. But there's multiple. If you watch the game, there are multiple players wearing the same number jersey.
True.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, you're right. Not that. That's not the problem because he's wearing Tyler Owens' jersey. Like,
right.
He was already wearing.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like the game. So he changes now. He's changing the number. He automatically just changes the number now. Like that's when you knew something was up. I ain't gonna lie. That's when you. I mean, you already knew it from Candy's reporting. You knew something was up from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, all of a sudden now you're rocking. I'm thinking, damn, is he even going? Like, are they getting rid of him like right after the game? Like,
right after the game.
I'm just saying, in terms of in terms of like the optics, that was nasty work. I ain't gonna I don't know Will Harris. I ain't the biggest Will Harris supporter out there, but I'm just saying, like, as a human being, like, you know how athletes are always to their jersey number. Let's be real. Like, then all of a sudden the dude rocket. I mean, he the better player. I'm not saying like, he can't take your number, but I'm just saying, like, all of a sudden he rocking Tyler Owens' number. And then now the game he about to play, he rocking my number. And I just played damn near the whole game last week in preseason. Dog, I'm just saying. Just be nice about it. Just be nice about it. That's all I'm saying.
And you didn't get no bread for it.
Yeah. That's because you don't get cut. There's no need.
You didn't get no bread.
There's no need for it, bro.
If I ain't gonna get cut, let me negotiate some deals. But let's go on the other side of that. Also, man, we saw that Quan Martin started playing football.
Mm-hmm.
It does not hurt that Quan Martin play 2 preseason games, 2 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It doesn't hurt that Quan Martin actually making tackles. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a knock on Quan Martin last year. So when you have somebody who stepped their game up, because we said it all along, the battle is between Quan Martin and Will Harris.
Yeah.
And so
we knew
on Saturdays or last Friday and this Saturday, the name that you called the most was Quan Martin.
Between the two, I mean, you never care.
Between the two,
you don't be calling.
You never said that about Will.
Yeah.
And I mean, I started tweeting stuff like Quan Martin or Will Harris. Like, would y'all chime in? Because now we're in practice and it's like abundantly clear. Like,
and so
Quan is winning this by a long shot at this point, you know.
And so at this point, we just need Quan Martin to perform in games, not in preseason, not in practice. We need you to perform.
Look, man, he got to get on that field first because there are other individuals who are. Oh, hold on, Thomas. Appreciate the super chat. Somewhere gonna Since you put it out there, I'm put out. Since you look, super chats, I told you they get prioritized. Since I like the depth of left tackle signing, but DQ saying we good at center. DQ said that with a straight face, not feeling that at all. You can see Candy's face. She ain't feeling that stuff either.
Hey, you better get my man DC Slim start talking about Dan.
No, but get back to. But go back to what y'all was saying about the safety position about Quan. I think Quan, to me, about getting on the football field, he has to get on the football field first because you got Nick Cross.
Yeah.
You got Reed. I mean, he's gonna have a package when he gets it out there. So I don't think he'll have the same. It looks like he won't have the same role that he had last season. But at least he's getting an opportunity to make plays and he can be put in the situations to be successful. But the most important thing is, Glenn, you know this because you coach football and you coach young men. That like just getting his confidence back is one thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's starting from watching him on TV, like watching the games. It just seems like he's more confident. And I know it's just preseason too. So, and Glenn, you make a great point that you want to see in games, but confidence is first, right? It's the first part. And I think he's regaining that. That's what I do like.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it has to do with Durante Jones, and I think them believing in him, and talking to him, coaching him up. Let's see. I mean, let's go. We go back to 24. Quan Martin was doing well.
He wasn't well.
He was doing well. 25 last year. It seemed like the wheels fell on the defense, and Quan Martin. It seemed like he was playing confused, and then he jumped through a lot of hoops, and he just didn't have confidence in his tackling, didn't have confidence in his coverage, didn't have confidence in a lot of things, and so now with a new defensive coordinator with new schemes. It seemed like he's gotten his confidence back. I don't want to say swag or nothing like that, but he got his aura back.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, you're doing what you can do for the time being. I mean, Coach Quinn, I think it was Nikki who asked the question about like who has surprised you. And he said, well, maybe the word isn't surprise, but he said Quan Martin. I mean, let's all be honest. We're all counting them out.
Quan Martin was one foot out of the door.
Exactly.
I did too, and I like Quan. I just thought he lost
100%. We were all counting them out. Like this probably, you know, we're trying to put them in trade packages. I mean, we all were like, okay. I even reflected, I'm going to wait, you know, because, you know, I just don't want to jinx nothing. Let's make sure he make the roster, which we know, you know. But I want to go back to last year's exit interviews. Remember when
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He just couldn't even articulate verbally how he felt at the end of the season. Like he just didn't even, he was speechless. He did not know what to say to me.
Agreed.
He did not know what to do. He didn't know what to say.
He knew he played badly,
and
man.
It was bad. And so I see, you know, and I think I told you all this maybe in OTAs. I said, you know what? I said, Quan is smiling. Like he's smiling.
Yeah, it was depressing.
Like,
it was depressing.
You know what I mean? It was.
Because it wasn't that he knew he played, but it's not just that. It's just that that's what I'm saying about confidence. Like you could tell, like watching that, I was like, damn, he lost his confidence.
It was
like that was it. Like, it just wasn't a good look. But go ahead, Candi. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
No. It was depressing. This is exactly right. And I said, you know, I remember I even was honest with you all publicly. Like I thought about not showing this because I felt some type of way because I've covered Quan now for a minute and I've gotten to know him and I was like, I don't know, like I almost was like, all right, cut, like I'm not going to record this anymore. I just want to talk to you, you know, at this point because we had those conversations as well. But I'm like, nope, I got to stick to, you know, observation. You know, I got to just
be a journalist. You got to be your job.
Stick to it. And he and I had a great talk before that interview to say, do you want to do this or not? Yeah. Like, you know, I'm not gonna trip you up. I'm not gonna ask you, but if you don't want to do it, we won't. Like we'll just talk. Right. But if you want to do it, if you are, he said, I do it for you. I got you. Okay. And I think he showed up in his real self because it was me. Like, I'm gonna give you the honest. And he didn't know what to say. And I walked away from there like, man, I do not feel good about his future here or anywhere. Like, this just isn't good. So to see this and fair and square, there is no favoritism. There is no favoritism. No. You know, this is business. I could like you all day and escort you out. You know, and say this is not gonna work for you. And so I'm just you know, let's make sure, you know, the 53-man roster is locked in, and I'm gonna replay that and be like, dude, I've seen the move. This has been a difference. Like this is how you can really measure change in a person, in a coach. And I always want to go back to, and I think it was from a question from Nikki before with Coach Jones. You know, I'm always gonna give credit, y'all. And she talked about, you know, where do you get it from his style of teaching? You know, I threw a little dart in there.
I know, I got you. That's why I laughed. That's all I laughed. I caught it. That's why.
Slide it in there.
I caught it, man. I caught it.
Coach Jones was the school teacher in the Louisiana school system, so he understands lesson plans and students. And teaching them what they need to do. And I tweeted it to people, that I've seen evolve. Quan and Tyler Owens.
Yeah, because Tyler Owens was another person that was out the door.
Yes. I would have backed him for real. Like, hey, it's all right.
But he found a home though, and that's the thing though. You got to find his niche on special teams. when you mentioned earlier, you know, in a couple episodes ago, where Izzo was talking about, I like Tyler Owens, and then we saw, and then if you watch special teams and you see Tyler Owens go make a play, you go see Tyler Owens down around by the football, and you're like, okay, I see where his spot is.